Welcome to my channel, Better Monday Fasting. In this video, I'll be talking about fasting as a productivity tool, how to turn fasting into a productivity tool, so with fasting we can become more productive. So fasting, it has many advantages, and one of them is that you can turn fasting into different types of tools, and one of them is productivity. And now if I were to give a personal example, my baseline is a 18-6 intermittent fasting, which means that I don't do breakfast, I don't do lunch, and if I'm going to eat, I'll eat only one meal. And I say if because, for example, lately I've been skipping three meals a week, so I only eat like four meals a week. And so what it does is just out of this world. So already with my intermittent fasting baseline, just to wake up, I'll do a very short morning routine just to get started, move the lymphatic fluid around. I mean, I can start working right away. Like, I don't need outside stimulants, and I actually really like, even if it's a fast, even if I'm not dry fasting, if I allow myself to have tea or some lime juice with vinegar and some electrolytes, I don't do it first thing in the morning. I'm gonna do it later on. But the thing is, I wake up and all I think is to get started with the day and work. And so that's a big plus. And until nighttime, I don't think about food, so it's not a distraction. It's not a distraction, and it's not a distraction, and it's not gonna be I'm not gonna get into the parasympathetic, I think you say it like that, mode, I mean, you probably already experienced that, you have heavy lunch, then you go back to the office, and for a couple hours, your brain is at 30%, because once you eat, once the insulin goes up and once you start digestion, the body switches from fight or flight mode to digestion, reconstruction. I mean, that type of the nervous system. It has the sympathetic and parasympathetic. Sympathetic. No, it's parasympathetic. I think it's. So that's another advantage. Not only you don't waste time, but the time you have, the quality is better. It's more suited for work. So you're not and fasting is great. I mean, once you pass the first initial fasting cycles, I mean, fasting, working or even working out, when you're fasting, it's so much better. It's so much better. I mean, it's just here I want to cross, but it's a little. It's kind of rush hour. This one. Yesterday I did my groceries and I was so proud because I don't do a to-do list, I usually remember everything, and I have like I have like a routine inside the supermarket, like in case, once I'm like, oh, I got everything, I do another last walk, and usually I remember things during that. But yesterday I forgot to buy butter, and which is a pretty key ingredient in my keto eating, and so so I went to another supermarket close by, and I'm kind of happy because I was buying. I'm kind of picky with butter, and I love when I find like the ones that are made by artisans. In Mexico, I was able to find that, and I know that in Paraguay, it's a great country for everything that touches cattle. It's like meat is great. Turkish yogurt is incredible, but I wasn't able to find the butter without salt that suited me. So I was buying this made in Brazil. Maybe you're familiar. Like there's the President brand of France. It's a pretty good butter. So it's not imported from France, but I think they probably have a plant in Brazil. So I was buying those. Like that was my option in Paraguay. But in that supermarket, I find a butter that looked kind of like butter made in a village and without salt. Because since I'm controlling my salts too, so I don't want like industrial salt. So that's why I buy the butter without salt. It's like small details, but they have their importance, So maybe the fact that I forgot yesterday to buy the butter in the more like I don't know how to say it, the more like Whole Foods looking grocery store. Well, now I went to a notch below still. I mean, they have good stuff. It's called Super 6. Super 6. It's a notch below than Casa Rica, but in terms of like, gourmet, and also the quality of produce, like the fruits, like they're better at Casa Rica in my opinion. But I found the butter, so maybe that'll be something good. I went on a tangent, but it wasn't totally unrelated. I mean, we're talking about health, so those little details are very, because there are many things that are hidden. That's the thing when you're on a keto or you want to control your salt, and like everything that everything that is like looks like a sauce or something, you don't know what they put inside. Or you go to a restaurant, you have soup, but maybe they put flour in it, they put starch or. So to come back to productivity, I mean, it's just with fasting. Again, once you pass the initial like stages, you're gonna have more time in your hand, and then you're also gonna, since you're fasting, the quality of the time is more suited for fasting. So then the other great effect of fasting on productivity is with the longer fast. I mean, that's just amazing. And once you're gonna start doing like longer fast, and you can, again, you have to pass the initial like fasting stages. Like you don't want to feel like sick. Well, I mean, once you already have like a certain amount of fasting cycles under your belt, then I mean, once you start doing, you're jumping your OMAD, you're jumping 2-3 OMAD. Like, I mean, first of all, you're gonna have a lot of time liberated. Like a lot of time liberated. I mean, for me, since I do my groceries myself, I don't use microwave. I cook everything from scratch. I don't use Tupperware. And also now that I only, like, I don't eat that much, you know, in terms of times. When I eat, you know, it kind of, I'm not gonna say I'm under like a shock or something, but it's just I need like a little bit of time to, yeah, to digest and before being productive again, you know, because going into fasting, coming from fasting, all those things are very, I mean, it's a little challenges for the body, you know. But the thing is, like, once you start doing the extended fasts, so for somebody like me, it liberates me 3-4 hours right off the bat. So now, like, the days I'm not eating my OMAD, oh my God, it's just great because I keep going. So all this time for cooking, doing the dishes, preparing the food, digesting, like all that, it's like at least 3 hours more that I can use for productivity. And then I'm like, I'm on, you know, like it's not the same as, because after eating, you know, I also usually play my guitar and then I go back to work. But when I haven't eaten anything, like I'm sharper, I'm quicker, I mean, which makes sense. I mean, digestion is gonna take so much of our energy, you know. So that's like jackpot, you know, like, and when you're on the extended fasts, like, you know, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 days, like, then it becomes like, you have like magical moments. It all depends on the fast. You know, sometimes, I mean, you'll also have difficult moments, but usually the mental clarity, mental clarity and stuff, it's out of control. I mean, not only you have mental clarity, but you start seeing, things that you weren't seeing before, you know. So like in terms of inspiration too, like it's great. Like on those longer fasts, like I will have really good ideas on the macro plan, you know. Like I'll be like, okay, I'm gonna be doing this way, like more of a major idea to move forward with everything. So yeah, overall it's an amazing like tool for productivity, and it's just amazing. And also I love working out when I'm fasting. I mean, I remember, you know, sometimes I'd like when I used to play soccer, and back then I didn't know about all that. So you eat to be ready for the game, and if you didn't have time to digest, it's horrible. You know, it's a horrible experience. You know, you really need to eat way early on. You know, same with swimming. So with fasting, it's just amazing for productivity, and also to a certain extent like performance. I'm not saying like on your 3rd day of dry fasting you're gonna beat your record, but yeah, I mean, if you don't feel too weak, you know, in your fasting, I mean, you might even help performance. And I also heard, like, in the within the Muslim world, like, you know, back in the days, I mean, they will win a lot of big wars on during the month of Ramadan, you know. So that's also interesting, you know. You're fighting for your life. I mean, that, like, it cannot be more like demanding than that. and your opponent, the enemy, they're eating and you're not. But somehow you win. So that's also something to think about. I mean, if you had told me that before I started fasting, I'll be like, oh no, this is just like, they're just saying to romanticize the whole thing. But now I believe it. Like I'm just, I myself, like when I don't, like I'm fasting, I haven't eaten. For example, like right now on the days, dog, it's always barking at me. It's yeah, like not anymore. Yeah, if you had told me before, like I would, that wouldn't make sense to me. I always thought, you have to eat to have strength, But now, like, yeah. Oh yeah, I was saying, especially on those days where so the next day, so the day I skip my OMAD, and I skip my OMAD, then I work all day and then I sleep, and the next day I usually feel like amazing, and that last portion until my OMAD, the second day, I'm like, I'm very like, yeah, like mentally I'm very like closer to alpha version of myself. Like I want to get work done. Everything moves fast, and I love it. Like, so yeah, it's something to think about. Like, I mean, with fasting, you'll be solving a lot of health-related problems, but also like fasting will start turning into different type of tools, and one of them is a productivity tool. So if you're fasting regularly, if intermittent fasting becomes your baseline, and you throw some extra days of fasting in there, I mean, you compare that year with the one where you weren't fasting, and let me know, like, because that's in my case, it's almost like I'm able, thanks to fasting, it's almost like I'm able to put 2 years in 1 year, in terms of productivity. So yeah, that's something I wanted to share, and hopefully will be helpful to you. And thanks for watching the video up to this point, and I see you in another video hopefully. Thank you.